Chasing shadows in the darkest maze. Footsteps echo in the empty hall. Mysteries waiting on our call. Bigfoot stomping through the pines. Aliens sending secret signs. EVPs in the dead of night. Ghosts dancing in the pale moonlight. Paranormal for what we bring it to you. Truth behind the veil, gotta pursue you.
All right. Welcome, everybody.
Welcome to the show.
You know, chat room already.
Yes. Hello, overtly overstocked. How you doing? We've got a great show lined up for everybody tonight.
Oh yeah.
I always look forward to talking to Dr. Christopher Macklin. This is the third time, if I'm not mistaken, he's been on the show.
I think so.
Yep. So we always have a good time, and there's always a lot. So do not change that channel. There's always a lot of information that he has during these shows. So,
yes.
So definitely stay tuned.
Yeah, he is a real nice guy, and he knows a lot. He's got a lot of information. So Dr. Christopher Macklin, he's a UFO researcher, a paranormal conduit, and metaphysical healer, originally from Chester, England. And from a young age, he reported psychic awareness and encounters with extraterrestrial and multidimensional beings. Experiences that shaped his life work, exploring the intersection of UFO phenomena, spirituality, and energy healing. Today, he works with clients around the world through his Global Enlightenment Center in Branson, Missouri, helping people address physical, emotional, and spiritual challenges through vibrational and intuitive healing methods. Dr. Macklin is also an author, an interfaith minister, and a leading voice discussing ET encounters. He discusses spiritual warfare and humanity's connection with other intelligence in the universe. So we're going to bring him on. How we doing, Dr. Macklin?
Oh, it's wonderful to be here. Thank you so much for having me again. You've not got tired of me already.
We always enjoy having you on here. I'm glad you've got a pretty good, I guess, agent that schedules your stuff. I mean, she's always boom, boom, boom. She always does a great job.
Yeah, she's great, Donna, bless her heart. You know, she's been with us for about 4 years, and you know, I mean, I just focus on healing. We've got 9 staff. You know, Donna does the PRs. You know, we've got staff who talk to the clients and book people. You know, it's interesting because you know a lot of people say, "Why don't you use like automatic booking system?" You can't because people are sick. They want to talk to somebody, and you need to have an understanding, and you need to fill in a sheet. You know what's wrong with them, and then we focus on it. So, and you know, to me, it's important that people do get the interaction, especially nowadays, because a lot of starseed people feel very isolated because they don't fit in the world. And well, who wants to fit in anyway?
Right.
You know, I look outside. This place is nuts.
It's getting nuttier every day.
It seems to. Yes, it does.
So we know you were born in Chester, England, and you had a lot of experiences with negative ETs that came to you as a young child. So take us back to the first encounters. What you remember about that?
Well, it's interesting because starting when I was born, you know, when I was born, I was targeted all the time. The last 2024 was 290 times. Tried to take you out, and I think it's because they don't want you to, you know, succeed in what you're meant to do in the life path. But besides that, anyway, so 2 days after I was born, 8 strokes, then got out of that, in hospital for a year, burnt my back when I was 4. And then when I got home, I remember being in my bedroom, 4 years old, you know, and I was lying there, and this big old reptilian thing in the corner, like 10'7" tall, it was sitting there, and I was looking at it, and I can see through the veil, you know, which someone always said it could be a curse or a blessing. And to me, I treat it as a blessing because luckily I can switch it off. You know, if you go to a restaurant, you don't want to see people's attachments like Anunnaki beings and snake beings on people. So I cut it off, just go to the restaurant, eat your food and then leave. But anyway, I was watching this thing and I felt, you can tell it's real because you feel like this dark, like thing in your chest, like, wow, this is not good. And the thing didn't look very happy. And Dad, there's a reptilian thing in my room. It's there, you know. And he comes running in. What is it? What is it? It's there, you know. Where? There. Usual thing. Just a bad dream. Now get back to sleep, you know. And walked off, and it was still there, you know. And out of nowhere, I don't know where I got this strength at the age of 4, but get out of my room. It went. Oh, that worked. And so, you know, power of intent. And you know, I learned that because I've had visitation of different, you know, entities like greys, and you know, I've sent them off. But at least I learned to manage them, even at the age of 4, which was, I look back and think, wow, you know, that's amazing. But yeah, that was one of the first encounters. And then I've seen, you know, I've had contact with draconians, I've had contact with greys, yeah, very reticular, a lot of it, you know, and also other beings when I've been, you know, meetings on the planet, another story. So yeah, it's really interesting.
That's kind of crazy. You know, I've never seen anything like that, but from the time I was a little kid too, you know, I was able to see spirits, and I've been able to see them my whole life. And it was almost the same type of situation where I would wake up in the morning and there'd be 3 or 4 people and they look just like normal people, but they'd be standing around my bed looking at me. And it would scare me because here I am 3 years old and there's strange people I don't know standing over me in my bed while I'm sleeping. So I would get up and start screaming and yelling and running through the house. And Mom was like, what are you running from? You know, there's no one else here.
You know, well, there is.
Yeah.
I actually do a lot of clearing of houses because I find here, one of the houses that I remember, it was actually someone on the board of the ministry because we're 501c3, and I remember her texting me. She texted me about 3 o'clock in the afternoon. I was doing sessions and I ignored it for a bit. She said, "Look, this house, it's getting worse. You know, there was negative entities there. There was a load of Native Americans there, all upset, you know." And anyway, I ignored it. And then I phoned her about 5:30 and I said, "Yeah, so what's happening?" She said, "Oh, I've got someone to do it, to clear it." And I said, "Who's that?" And she said, "The lady's name." And I go, "Oh, no." The thing you learn about Native Americans is you better do it right. You know, you better respect their culture. You better honor them for what they do, etc., etc. So I said, "Well, give me a call back if it doesn't work." Next day, she goes, "Oh my God," you know, because the plumbing was being damaged and everything else. You know, they'd fix it. They were trying to sell it, couldn't sell it, and plumbing was damaged and things like that. So I spent about 2 hours. There was 740-ish, I can't remember exactly the amount, but 740 odd Native Americans who were slaughtered underneath that house.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
I had to go through every single one and bring them forward, honor them, thank them for the blessing of their journey, thank them for being here, etc., and then move them on and the next one, the next one. So I moved all those, and of course, with the anxious energy, all the negative energy, oh, we want to join in. So I had to clear all the house of reptilians and everything else. Do you know, after that clearing, and it actually brought tears to my eyes because I felt their pain, you know, and I love the Native Americans. And after that clearing, she sold it within 2 days, the house, and she couldn't sell it for 6 months, you know. So
Wow.
it just shows you that people are very sensitive to energy. If you go to a house, you know, oh, I don't like the energy in here, and you won't purchase it. So,
Yeah.
you know, I do a lot of clearings of houses before people sell them because then it gets rid of all the negativity in there, you know. So, yeah, it was interesting.
I got a question. You know, we were just talking about this Thursday about, you know, helping spirits move on. Do you know why they would be trapped or why they couldn't move on?
Yeah, Native Americans, they take a vow to look after their land. So when they pass, they stay between worlds. Now, of course, if you build on the land, are they really happy about it? Probably not, but they'll live with it, you know. And I think if you honor them, they'll honor you. We have 40 acres here, and it was quite a high density Native American settlement and things. And we honor them, I mean, they wander around the house and I don't care, I love seeing them, and I can see them as well. About a month ago, I was sitting on the front porch and I was looking through the veil and I saw a guy on a horse. Well, he was actually standing by the side of his horse. He was a cowboy and he had his hat and that hat was off. And anyway, he's just petting the horse and he realized I was watching me. So he looked back. Oh, time to go. So he got on his horse, put his hat on and rode off. But I see a lot of Native Americans, and, like I say, I honor them. What was interesting is in Pennsylvania, we have a prayer for food. Now, I don't really know, but the Native Americans, when they slaughter something for food, they honor its soul, they bless it, and they go through a whole ceremonies to honor that animal for allowing their bodies nutrition. And we wrote a prayer, which is a Melchizedek prayer, which does the same thing. You ground yourself and say, "Dear God, I command you to remove any ungodlike particles," which is manipulation. Optimize the base of food and bless the souls and the animals and the plants that allow your body nutrition. And we thank you, God. So saying that, and it got to a Native American reservation in Pennsylvania. So the medicine man phoned me up and goes, would you mind if we used your prayer on the reservation? We want to translate it to our language. I said, mind. I said, it'd be an honor, so he did. He wrote it on this scruffy card and they actually sent it to me. It's amazing. So, wow. So yeah, I mean, doing the same things, we have the ability to do the same things through maps of intent. I don't like the word prayer because it's very Christian. Yeah, I'm not a Christian. I believe in one God, many paths, and God's everywhere and everything. But, I honor people for different avenues to God. And, I abide my life by Jesus, Don't judge people. But like I say, I'm not a Christian. Right. So it's interesting.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm the same way.
Yeah,
when it comes to that.
I grew up in a Christian family and it was pretty strict, and David was too, but I think that's what kind of got us out of that onto a truth path.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, you look at the Bible. I mean, the original Bibles, like the Dead Sea Scrolls, it's got a lot of other, chapters in it, like the Macklin, book and Enoch that they've left out. And then they rewrote it, Constantine rewrote it, so it's rewritten by a paedophile. Then King James rewrote it again. So to me, the original, if you read the original Lord's Prayer, it's absolutely amazing. It kind of gives you goosebumps because it's a complete instrument of manifestation. But if you read the diluted ones, it's a lot lower. So it's interesting,
Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy how I think it's what is it? Who is it that has the most?
Ethiopian.
The Ethiopian Bible. Yeah. It's got.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, that's the closest to you'll get, So yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, haven't taken anything out.
No, thank goodness. Yeah, I've never read that one, but you should. If anyone wants to see the original Lord's Prayer, the direct Arabic translation, it's on. If you search on Google, you can find it. If you read it, it's just wow. It gives you goosebumps. You can tell the power of it. Yeah.
So we really wanted to get into the Greenland situation.
Yeah.
Want to know what your thoughts are. It's all over the news. We're wanting to acquire it, I guess, and I don't know. From your perspective, what's happening?
Well, everyone thinks that they're after the minerals. We're really not. So what about Greenland? So Greenland harbors one of the most tightly guarded concentrations of extraterrestrial activity of the planet. Now off-world entities, maintain hidden installations between the ice sheets. So there's kind of cities there where the extraterrestrials work with the Nordics, who work with other chosen human beings to work there. And they work on engineering and craft technology, which are really advanced, of course. They work on propulsion systems, which actually allow you instant displacement over vast distances, like millions of miles. It's time-space continuum switching, and they can also they have multi-dimensional technologies where you can switch dimensions. I mean, people think there's like 9 dimensions or 7. There's not. It's infinite. There's infinite dimensions. And so, take, for example, the Arcturians. They're in the 7th and 12th dimension. I deal with the 12th dimensional ones. And you can actually, if you get in a craft and it's got multidimensional capability, you can switch time, space, and be with them in a second. And so, but, they're also there because they've what would you call it? They've established like a long-term observation post to monitor planetary development. So what it means is you've got a guardian. So if we try and do stupid things, they're not going to allow it because obviously they've got the technology. And their presence dates back centuries. And obviously they've intervened with periodic interventions that have occurred, to stop catastrophic misuse of destructive forces by superpowers. So they have intervened. I know there's been a couple of times, and it's not just them, actually. It's not just the Nordics and also the tall greys who are benevolent, but you've also got the Arcturians. I mean, I think it was was it 1986? They were monitoring the Cleftive perspective of the planet to see when enough people didn't want nuclear war. And after 1986, it got to 80%, which allowed them the permission to actually shut down any nuclear weapons, and they have been ever since. That's why, they've almost set ones off and suddenly they're disabled, and we'll never have a nuclear war here. Even though people say, oh, it's World War III, it's going to be nuclear. It's not. They won't allow us, so. But, but in the, around there, because they've got all this weaponry and because they're transmitting frequencies, they've got like a cloaking mechanism, which is energy fields that neutralize any external detection method, so they can't find them. And like I say, they possess knowledge of multidimensional travel. They are sharing it with factions of human people, but it's got to be benevolent. They've got to be, white hat, good people, and so they're doing that already. What else is there? Well, they're also aligned with broader federations of civilizations, which is like Galactic Federation. So there's a connection there, and I think that's very important. I mean, there is strategic communications behind the scenes, like Trump's administration know about this. That's why he's so excited to try and get hold of it. So their objective is to help us. And don't forget greys. People think, oh, greys are dark. The grey reticula are dark because they've destroyed their planet with nuclear, and now they've come down here to try and steal eggs and sperm to try and create humanoids. That's all stopped since 2017. But they are there, to help dismantle any control systems, and they're doing that at the moment. They're really helping us at the moment. So we have a lot to be thankful for having those guys here. I mean, the Nordics are the tall blondes, I don't even know that, the tall blonde people. And also spiritual advancement has been suppressed. I mean, there's a lot going to happen this year. There's going to be a lot of, how do you put this? The planet is a conscious being. Yes. And I think we're coming to the end of, this is all spirituality, everything, the planet, us, whatever. And then you get the malevolent who want to manipulate, and it's all about money. I mean, it makes me laugh when people say, well, we don't have the money of Jeff Bezos. He's worth $280 billion. But hang on a minute. It's a debt note. So he's 280 billion in debt. So he's actually in debt. So I've got more money than him. I've got $10 and it's more money than the 280. It's all debt, Why would you say it's an asset? It's not, but anyway, so going off the point. So, they've created alliances with certain military branches. and like I say, they're neutralizing aggressive groups because they've got all this technology, but they're not going to give it to us until we get peace. Because who wants a war type strategy? People traveling off planet to other dimensions and other star systems, they've got to have peace first. Otherwise, that creates a massive problem. So, but yeah, I mean, they have covert meetings between, between like, secure channels. And I think it's happening beyond public view, of course, but the focus remains long-term liberation. I mean, that's what they're doing. And I think they're really helping at the moment. But it's not just them, I mean, they're here in Greenland underneath, but you've also got, Palladians, Arcturians, Lemurians, Atlanteans, Andromedans. All these people are really here to help us. And so I think that's why, it's beyond the resources, and it grants access to all the extraterrestrial technology and everything else once we've achieved the goal of peace, which I think is really good. So, but they've also got anti-gravitational, 0-point energy. What else have they got? Healing modalities. They're using plasma energy. I mean, we're being healed by the sun. Again, the sun. What is it? People think it's just a nuclear thing that's burning away. It's not. It's plasma energy. It's a sentient being, and so it's sending its energy down to us to actually start upgrading our bodies. And that's why people are struggling a bit at the moment, because we're turning from from carbon to crystalline structure. Because obviously, when you go to a higher vibration, you need that crystalline structure to be able to maintain your vibration. If not, you won't make it. So, little by little, it's all well balanced. And obviously, Mother Earth herself, Gaia's taught, communicated with the sun to do it in a methodical way, not just blast us with energy and blows out the water. So yeah, so it's really interesting, the revelations on responsibility of stewardship. These entities are creating kind of stewardship, so we don't do crazy stuff. But deep beneath Greenland, vast underground facilities, massive. And so if you think he's interested in minerals, no, not at all. I mean, they want to focus on reverse engineering projects. And get protocols in place to prevent misuse of transfer of knowledge, And so there's a lot happening. And also there's a grid connected to different places like Iran, for example. And, the deep state used to try and be in control of that. But of course, the deep state their main focus is Antarctica, where all the reptilians are. And they've put the firmament around the planet to try and suppress our spiritual growth, which is actually 6% gone now. So that's being worked on as well. But so the technologies are amazing. They've got Stargate technology. What's that? Well, it's like they have the technology like a frame, like it's just like a door frame, and you plug it in and switch it on. And if I want to come to you, David, or Jason, you give me your coordinates. Okay, I'm coming for a cup of tea. I'll be there in 1 second. So you dial the coordinates, you literally walk through it, and it switches in time space to your location, and you just walk out of it. So it eradicates the need for aircraft travel. You can just okay, I'm going to a hotel. Let's dial the hotel. And you're there. Anti-gravitational, been around forever. Plasma-based tools, plasma lasers. I don't know if you guys know, but the thousands of miles of tunnels under the planet. Mm-hmm. How did they create them? By a drill? I think not. Right. What they do is they use a plasma laser that burns at 100, 200,000 degrees C. It evaporates rock and they just vacuum it out. So they can cut, I think it's 7 to 10 miles of tunnel in a day. Wow. Incredible, Yeah. But and obviously anti-gravitational, so propulsion systems that can get you the other side of the universe in seconds. So yeah, I think when this comes out, it'll be amazing.
But you think that like you were saying earlier, that we have to get to a higher vibrational state before they're going to start, allowing this stuff to start coming out. Do you think with the way that our countries, all countries around the world are set up. You know, we are warmongering, right? I mean, we're the monkey on the tallest branch gets to run everything, and that's the way it is. Do you think that they're going to have to dismantle the way that our, civilization is used to being run for thousands of years? That's going to have to be changed?
Oh yeah, I think. Well, you've got to remember. I mean, how many actual humans? I'm talking about humans. So, let's go back to birth. So, if you want to birth a human being, you need a woman's womb. Yeah, because if you don't, if you try it in a pod, you get a draconian AI kind of robotic soul in, and you can tell the people a mile off. Because if you go to your local store and you really know what to look for, look in their eyes. They're dead. There's nothing there. There's no light in the eyes. There's no soul there. They can't create a monologue. So they're not proper human beings. They're AI kind of controlled biological beings. And there's about 75 to 80% of them on the planet. I mean, if you always go back to the population. I just want to read this again, if I may. Where is it? Population over the last 500 years. So let's have a look at population. So 1500s, there was 438 million people on the planet. So almost 500 million, 430 million. Okay, 1500s. 1600s, it went up to 500 million. It's a little bit much, but yeah, okay, we can live with that. Another 60 million. Because don't forget, you're having kids, but the parents are dying off. So, it balances out. 1700s went up from 500 billion to 610 million. 1700 to 1800, big leap. 610 to 1 billion people. That's a big shift.
Yeah.
And then 1800s to 1900s, it goes up to 1.6 billion. That's 600 million more. It doesn't make sense. 1900 to 2000, it goes from 1.6 billion to 6.144 billion. Hang on a minute. Now, if people got an addiction here, what's going on? I don't know.
Right.
How can you produce that many, repopulate the planet that much in just 100 years? And the answer is you can't. And then think about this, 2000, 6.14 billion to 224, it's 24 years, 8.7 billion. I mean,
Wow.
Come on, guys. It's so if you really look at the population, none of it makes sense, which means that they've been harvesting pod-like robotic people for a long time, and they've been doing it in Iran. Why do you think they're going to Iran? All the ritualistic sacrifices they've been doing, genetic, underneath. They're not interested, they want to get underneath and stop all these programs. And the rituals involve, pineal gland, substances and all this sort of thing. It's just horrible. And, that's why they're putting a stop to it. But, so, it just gives you an idea of what's going on. And the answer is, it doesn't make sense. None of this makes sense. And the history doesn't make sense either. So, yeah.
Yeah, it makes you think. That makes you think. Because I didn't know about the population. That's quite a big jump.
It's insane.
Yeah.
Yeah. TV wasn't around then, so I don't know. So
I don't see us doing that on our own.
No, not at all. I mean, they've got massive DOMs. They've got massive facilities all over, military facilities where they're just basically, creating fetuses, and AI draconian. I mean, there's also obviously a reptilian. There's reptilian hybrids. They've created them, and there's reptilian shapeshifters. And those shapeshifters literally can switch from the fourth dimension to here, and they can take on human form. But what's interesting, if you look at them really carefully, the ones who we know are shapeshifters, like, well, do you want me to give an example? I don't know. But the Queen of England, Charles, all these people, when they actually, after a while, what happens is they switch into reptilian. When they switch back, they can never exactly get themselves the same. So if they have a birthmark or a spot here, it'll be over here next time. And, if you watch really carefully, you can really tell shapeshifters. But you can also tell by the energy. The energy is very, very negative and satanic. So, So that's what's happening. So we have, I believe, probably now about 700 million actual human beings. The rest are reptilian hybrids, reptilian with masks on, and NPCs. It's interesting.
Do you think that a lot of these extra people that don't belong here, or I mean, I guess if they don't belong here, but anyway, these extra people that are here, whether they're in disguise or whatever, do you think that they're here to try to keep us from, you know, going to that next level, keep us from reaching, you know, what it is, the goal that's being set for us, so then we could actually transcend from where we are today?
Oh yeah, absolutely. And I think they realize they're very powerful beings, because the beings we are proper God beings. I mean, some like the Greys, the Reticular. I mean, every being's a God being. It's come from source somewhere. But at the same time, if they're manipulated and their vibration's low, then, but they realize that, you know, we have proper human beings. If you think about all this sacrifice, who could harm a child? Who could rape a child? Who could do all the horrible things? You know, they eat them, they do. This is not human behavior. This is satanic something else, something that's way beyond our mindset. I mean, I remote viewed the Dumbs once, and when you remote view it, you look inside, but you can smell what's going on, and it was like, it almost made me throw, I can't do this anymore. So now I've seen it, it's enough, and I don't want to go there again, because I know what's happening. And yes, they're taking it down, but you know what you don't want to do is slap yourself across the face, where it really gives you psychological issues. Because if you look too hard, it will give you psychological issues. It gives anybody. You know, look at MK Ultra, what they do to those people. You know, age of 3, they start raping them. They start doing all sorts of horrible things, way beyond your imagination, and you know, it breaks the soul and it breaks their personality, and then they rebuild it, of course, programming them. So. Yeah, and you know, I've helped a lot of MK Ultra people. It's not easy to reprogram them and get them back to their normal self, but we've done it, you know.
Jill asked a question. Asked, what is a shapeshifter? So maybe she's asking you if you could describe what a shapeshifter is exactly.
Yeah. Anunnaki Draconians. So what they are is they come from the 4th dimension. So they're a different dimension than us. So what happens is that they have the ability to shift their shape into this dimension. So they become a solid being. You know, these entities actually attach to people. So, you know, I would say 99% of people who come for healings for me have got an attachment. And, you know, so what happens with the attachment? Well, Anunnaki Draconians, they sit in the abdomen, and you can't see them, you know. I mean, I can see them, but a lot of people can't, because they're in a different dimension, different time, same space. So they sit in the abdomen, low vibrational energy. It paralyzes the lower intestine, so you get intestinal issues. It paralyzes the liver, so the liver's not functioning, so you get brain fog because your liver's not processing the toxins. It paralyzes the adrenals, you're exhausted. It hangs on the shoulders and neck. So a lot of people go, oh my God, my shoulders and neck are so tight all the time. Taps in the lower back, damages the L4R5 discs and sends negative thoughts. So, for example, if you go out to work, you know, you'll get these thoughts like, it's a you thought, but, you know, the boss doesn't like you, you know, no one likes you here. Why are you here? You get all these horrible thoughts. And after a while, if it's 24/7, you start to believe it if you don't, you know, really monitor your thoughts. And that's how they get people depressed. And so, yeah. But shapeshifters, so they can switch from the 4th to the 5th dimension. They can shift in time and space, so they look like human in human form. Now, how do you actually know? You know, because you can always tell. If you look at people, you can always tell, oh, there's something really dark about this person. It's probably way beyond, because human person, even though they've got an entity attachment, wouldn't feel like dark, but you think, oh, wow, there's something about this person. Now, we have a quick prayer to do, so have a look at them. Like the Queen of England. I mean, I know she's passed away now. I'm not even going to say God bless her. So, yeah, it's just what it is. The reptilians exited the planet. I mean, sorry. If you love her, carry on. But, you know, if you think someone's a reptilian, look in their face. Obviously, don't say the prayer in front of them. Ground yourself. Say, I am of God. I ground myself to the earth. And then say, dear God, I command you, show this person in their true form. And I thank you, God. They can't hide from that. So what happens is you'll see very significant overlay. It's like an opaque overlay of their true form. And you think, oh my God, I had a girlfriend like that, and I didn't realize she was reptilian until, I thought, why is she so mean? And then one night I was sitting on the sofa, and so I did the prayer, and oh my God, it's a reptile. Do you know what? Next morning I was gone. As soon as she went to work, packed all the things, gone.
Out of here.
I've had a few of them, but I don't know if they were reptilians.
What do you mean?
We had a couple good questions from Overtly Overstoked Oscar. They asked on the first one, they asked, how many people need to be enlightened? Is it half the population, 3/4, or just a few hundred? What is there?
Well, think about this. There's only 700 million actual human beings on the planet-ish. Don't quote me on that. Maybe a little bit more, a little bit less, but so if you look at the total population of the planet, 8.7 billion people, and remember there's NPCs and all this, are they getting enlightened? No. Are the reptilians going to get enlightened? The hybrids? No. So we need 8.7% of the whole planet enlightened to actually switch into the fifth dimension. And we've got a little way to go. I think last time I looked, we were about 3.6%. So we're getting there, little by little. But there's a certain element of people who just won't wake up. It doesn't matter what you do, you're just not doing it, I don't know what's going on. Maybe duct tape brain syndrome or something. I don't know. Something's going on because if you don't see something drastically wrong with this planet at the moment, then I don't know what to say.
She also asked, how could you get rid of an attachment like that?
We do have a prayer on the website. You can try it yourself. The problem is if you have an attachment, what can happen is you don't have the power within you because it's dragging you down. I can do a little clearing if you want during the session, if you want. So it's up to you guys. Yeah. I can do a little bit, I don't really want me to do it now, but
yeah, we can do it like towards the end of the show if you want to.
It'd take about 7 minutes. Is that okay?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Okay, so let's get ourselves grounded. So anyone listening, if you want the healing, just say yes. And we'll remove any entities. What I'm going to do is remove any entities. I put you in a portal, remove entities, comb your meridians. So your meridians are clear. Give you energy. And then what we'll do is I'll just work on the liver, kidneys, detox the body, and do 9 heart chakra releases. It'll just help people. If that's okay, it's about 7 minutes. Is that okay?
Absolutely.
Yes.
Okay, so if you want the healing, I want you to ground yourself if you're listening. So anyone listening now and in the future to his podcast, I want you to say, I am of God. I ground myself to the earth. And I accept this healing for my highest good. And don't forget, it works in the future. Right, going to put you in a portal. Ultimate Dimension 8 portals around each person on this call and listening in the future. Close it off with them. Dear God, command 27, you state Merkabah fields around that person. With their sacred point in the center of the Merkabah fields, bonding the portals to the Merkabah fields, program the blueprint of that person's DNA and the keys of Enoch, so as not to allow anything except for the highest good to enter. Right, we're going to remove any entities. So if you've got a reptilian, like Anunnaki Draconian, sits in the abdomen, hangs on the shoulders and neck, we're going to remove those so that in your sacred space, then because that beings are coming through the ultimate dimension, they're going to escort them out your body. So you're going to feel a drawing from your torso out to your tummy button right now. If you've got a first and second dimensional being like scarab beetle type things, octopus type things, they just sit in the body. They're removing those now, so we're going to feel a lightness somewhere in the body. If you've got a second dimensional snake being, they tend to lurk in the left or right shoulder, left or right hip, left or right breast. Removing those now, you'll feel a very subtle, like unraveling of kind of a spirit snake. They're pulling those out now. If you've got archons attached here, this is connected to the bioweapon that people have ingested since 2019. So the CRISPR technology damaged your DNA. If it's not compatible with your soul lifts out of the body, in come archons. So if you've got an archon attached here, they have no body, they float through the second, third, and fourth dimension. So removing those now, you can feel like drawing of negative energy. Now, if you've got Luciferians, these are connected to the Vatican. I'm not going to say too much about the Vatican because I got into trouble last time. But in 2024, when they hit me with a weapon, whatever. So these things are very snarly. When they leave your body, they might contort your body or speak through your voice box in a cackly, snarly, raspy voice. So removing those now and send them all back to God with unconditional love and forgiveness. Right, I'm going to comb your meridians. So what does that mean? Well, you get stuck redundant energy in the meridians. If you go to acupuncturists, they put needles through and clear them that way. The Melchizedek beings take their hands down your body. So you're going to feel angelic hands go down your body or light ribbon. Going from your crown down your face, the back head on the left, down your neck, cross left shoulder down your arm. The right, we're doing the same. On the left, we're going down your neck, down your chest, down your abdomen, out to the hip. The right, we're doing the same. On the left, we're going from your hip down your thigh, over your knee, down your calf, out to the foot. And on the right, we're doing the same. Right, we're going to give you energy. So there's two types of people on this call. People with spirochetes and nanotech, people without. Spirochetes and nanotech are Brilli Lyme, HIV AIDS, Agent Orange, Morgellons. If you've got Morgellons, you've got Lyme disease and a whole lot of more. And then you've got the bioweapon that we've injected into people, which has got every horrible, nasty thing in it. If you have that, you're going to receive space-time continuum. It's very electrostatic. Starts off subtle. It's going to get stronger and stronger. Then it's going to plateau. You guys without spirochetes and nanotech replicating your body, you're going to feel ultimate dimension energy. So you get very floaty, light floaty, warm, tingly. Right, I'm going to very quickly, I don't want to spend too long on this, but very quickly work on the liver and kidneys. So of course, most people's adrenals are low. Why is that? Because emotion that you've ingested bleeds into the adrenals, so paralyze them. So they're going in now. You're going to feel a lot of movement in the adrenals. They're clearing the emotion out. We're going to revibrate the liver. So if the liver's low, like 30%, you're going to get brain fog. So the liver's going higher now. So as it gets higher and higher, it's going to process the toxins in your body. Your head's going to get lighter, higher and higher. Head should be getting lighter and lighter. Higher and higher. Head should be getting lighter and lighter. Higher and higher. Head should be getting lighter and lighter. So it's getting towards 100%. So the head should keep clearing over the next 5 minutes. Right, I'm going to detox the body. I'll do two more things. Detox the body. Probably do 3 heart shock releases. How do we detox the body to save the liver from getting overloaded? We're switching heavy metals, toxins, mycotoxins, oxalates that come from eating greenery, and microplastics. We're switching them out of this time to a different time in your body, drawing them out of space. You're going to feel a weird cool breeze or a drawing sensation coming out your body. I'm going to step it up 3 times so it gets stronger. Then it's going to plateau higher. Stronger again. Then it's going to plateau. Stronger again. Then it's going to plateau. If you feel that, people say it feels a bit freaky, but I think freaky is great. Right, let's do the heart shock releases. Have you got, empaths ingest something like 150,000 layers of emotion. So what they're doing is they're going in those layers all around the heart. It's energy, of course, and they're looking for your biggest emotion affecting you right now. So they pull it out. So as they pull it out, you're going to feel a tightness depending on where the emotion affects the body, either in the lower back, lower abdomen, solar plexus, breastbone, foot, upper back, shoulder, or neck. Can be in the head or leg. So it should feel a tightness, tighter and tighter. Now, when it releases, breathe it out. Really important to move that energy. Okay, second one. Tight again, tighter and tighter. Breathe it out when it releases. Third one. Tight again, tighter and tighter. Breathe it out when it releases. So let's just close off. So, okay, I'm going to close off with a sphere of unconditional love. So, dear God, for everyone this call or listening now and the future, I command we create a sphere of ultimate dimensional unconditional love around each and every person and their Merkabah field to protect them from any negative entities, fractals thereof, manipulations, and transmissional frequencies that are not for that person's highest good through all space-time continuum. In every dimension, we thank you, God, send you unconditional love. So be it. That's it. Did you guys feel anything?
I did.
Yes, I did. Actually, I did. So that was
I
amazing.
actually did. When you said the cold sensation was going to leave your body, and it kept getting, I really did feel it.
Yeah, people say, "Oh my God, that feels freaky," but it's great because it saves overloading the liver if you try and detox the liver. But if it's drawing it out energetically, it's a lot better. So yeah, absolutely.
Wow.
Overtly says, "Thank you. I feel very light."
Bless her.
That's
Yeah. Well,
amazing.
the proof of the pudding's the easy. You say, "Oh, I can do healing." Well, let's show it. At least it's what I would say as well. Just to remind everyone, if we just remove the empty, it's important to do the prayer, which is the 27 esoteric Merkabah field prayer, because after your vibration lowers, the thing's going to try and reattach to you. So if you say that prayer, it's 27 esoteric Merkabah field. It's on the website. Just print it off, say it 3 times a day. It'll keep the things out. So yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, you missed it, Greg.
Yep.
He just made us lighter. I'm going to go way after the show. I feel lighter.
Definitely, if you missed it, if you wasn't here for the live, go back because it's still there. It's amazing. It was amazing. That was cool. So, thank you for that.
It's a pleasure, bless your heart.
That was awesome. Before that, go ahead. No, you go ahead.
I'm trying to think of the thing I was going to ask him, but you go ahead and I'll think about it later. Here,
I was just gonna. I think you kind of touched on it, but maybe they didn't hear it. But they ask, what are the 7.5 billion other life forms? Since you say that there's, only 500 million or whatever humans.
About 7, yeah, 7. Well, they're NPCs. A lot of them are 85% are NPCs of the whole planet, 80% something like that. So they've been born in a pod, in massive farms, in domes under the ground. They've been doing it for years. I mean, don't ever think they've had this technology forever in the 1800s. So, all history is a lie. We've had Martian wars, we've had Syrian wars, we've had Atlantis things, and you get this stuff in the history books that's just been rewritten to cover all that up. But so what they've done is born them in pods. Now, most of them are NPCs. There are reptilian hybrids. What does that mean? Well, the reptilians have actually made a hybrid of themselves that look kind of human, but you can always tell because they have their eyes go back to like a reptilian slit. They can't get away from that. But that also happens with shapeshifters as well. Sometimes they can't hold the form, so when they blink, you can see like a reptilian slit in the eye, and then it goes back to human. And and you've also got reptiles actually with masks on, So yeah, some of them literally, in the government have got masks on. So that's what they all are. It's probably shocking to realize, but yeah, it's crazy. This planet is just not what you think. So,
overtly says that you made their toothache go away.
Yeah, that's good.
And Jill says that was very cool. So,
oh, bless you. Well, the proof of the pudding, you can say, "Oh, I do healing." Well, okay, yeah, whatever. But when you actually feel it, you think, "Oh, actually, there's something going on."
It was amazing. It was good.
Well, I'm just reminding everyone, we do a healing by donation every week. It's Thursday, 5 p.m. Central Time, and Saturday, 11 a.m. Central Time. And so I do that every week. It's by donation. So just come on, register, go to Global Enlightenment Project, and you can get that per week. I mean, I do one-to-ones, I do specialized groups, and we do have a protocol, which is a 34 to 36 week program to strip all this nanotechnology and bioweapon. Because the problem with the nanotechnology, the particles in your body, they can switch dimensions. People don't realize this. And I've been working on them for like 16 years. It's crazy stuff. So, the only way to get it out is to actually lock it on timeline. So we split your timeline in two. It gets locked on a timeline to the sun, and your body gets locked on a timeline of divine light, complete wellness, where all the stuff's out of the body, and little by little it strips it out. So yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that's pretty amazing. let's see here. We was kind of talking about Greenland, but Greenland, I guess you've said that it's kind of a global elite refuge. What does that kind of mean?
Well, I think it was, but it's not now. I mean, well, it depends what you mean by elite. If you mean deep state elite, it's not. But I think it's, if you mean like benevolent people who want to help us to actually get back to our sovereign place, then yes. And it's been hidden because, of course, they don't want us to know they're there. They're just, they only want people who are evolved enough to be able to cope with understanding who they are and how they work. So, but, their end goal is to basically restore human evolution sovereignty, spreads technology, they want to get those going as well. But again, you're not going to bring technology out until people really are at peace, and I think that's the whole point now about what's going on, is really getting peace. And people wonder by Iran, I mean, you don't realize how much satanic things go on underneath Iran. They're doing, I mean, it's going on everywhere, but they're doing genetic manipulation, even maritime creatures, they're creating them as well. They're doing massive rituals. If you ever heard the rituals or saw them, you probably like, oh my God, it'd probably make you throw up. These things are so satanic. And they're taking them out. They've also got beings genetically modified to help them. They're in cryogenic state, which helps them remote view and things like this. So there's so many things involved with this. And you think, wow, how do you take it all out? Well, they're doing it, And I honor the white hat people in the military for doing this, because I'll tell you, if we'd have left it too much longer, I don't think we'd have a world at all, So, yeah, I think also what we do every 120 days, I think the next one's in June, to counter the satanic rituals, we actually do a God ritual. So what is a ritual, really? Well, what we do is create a map of intent. So we call that big pharma, big tech, big this, big that, all the satanic government, all the deep, all the military industrial complex, all the hospitals, all the doctors who have manipulated humanity. And we basically bring them before God for justice and release them to God with unconditional love and forgiveness. And then to create a ritual, that's a map of intent. So to create a ritual, we say, okay, dear God, command you reinstate it every day for 120 days. Last time we had a lot of people on it. It was really powerful. So if you guys want to join, the next one, it's not up yet, but, think about June, I think it is, every 120 days, because, people often say, well, Bezos and Gates and all these people have got the money. We don't have the money to go up against them. You don't need money, because it's not money anyway, it's debt. We've got God behind us, way more powerful, prime creator. And I think if we use these maps of intent, the power of prayer is incredible. But I always prefer the maps of intent, because, that's what it is. And I think if you really put some power behind that, I think you can change anything. It's amazing.
Wow. Yeah, there's even been studies on that, on intent in numbers, right? More than one person and quite a few people praying or just wanting something. And there's actually been studies showing that it actually happens. It works. It works really well. Yeah.
Well, the energy behind it. We normally have about 250 people to 300 people on this. You can imagine with that amount of people, it'd be great if we had 10,000. But these people are dedicated because they really want it to happen. So they say it with authority, and that's the key, saying it with authority. So, I mean, I remember I did a demonstration. I think it was in, I think it was in Arkansas somewhere. I can't remember now. But I was going to speak and talking about different things, and I thought I'm going to do a demonstration. So I bought a load of strawberries from Walmart. They taste horrible. They're like sour and blah, So yeah, let's just check. Yeah, they're sour enough. Okay, we'll have them. So I took them with me and I split them in half, and they all tasted the same. And I actually did the food prayer over half of them and not over the other half. And then I sent them round, A and B. So I sent A round and said, see what you think of these strawberries, A. So it tastes blah, sour, So I sent B round and said, so see what you think of those. Wow, they're delicious, I said, would you believe these are both from Walmart? They're from the same batch. They tasted the same at the start. So what's changed? I don't know. Maps of intent. It actually, it really helps with the food as well. You know, if you try something and then you actually do that food prayer, you'll find that it tastes really different. And I think also, you know, we can't really trust any of these big corporations like Walmart and that. I mean, if you buy an organic lettuce, it's probably for the same batch. They don't care. They just repackage it. Do people know the difference? You know, I mean, I can tell, but a lot of people don't. They just buy it and spend another $2 on it, and you're getting a GMO item that's labeled non-GMO. So I think it's always important to do the prayer.
Yeah.
You know, that's something that Jason and I talk about a lot, though, is intent. And, you know, if you do everything with intent, you're going to get a better outcome. And intent itself, we use it when we're doing our investigations, when we go to do ghost investigations and stuff like that. Because that intent, you could tell these entities, okay, you cannot come home with me. You know, you cannot do this or that, right? And you set that intent, and then that helps. It works.
Oh yeah, absolutely. You know, yeah, it must be interesting doing ghost hunting now. So,
I was a real skeptic before me and David started this. I mean, maybe in my younger years when I was preteens, I was a little more open to it, but as time went on and the religion and all that kicked in, and I got past that with David, and I really believe it's real. I think I'm not a skeptic anymore. I know that there's something else after this.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I mean, if you look in the Bible, I think it's in Matthew or something. I don't read the Bible, but I remember reading Matthew. It said John was Elijah. You know, it talks about reincarnation, but of course, a lot of Christian people don't believe in it. But if you think about your soul, I mean, your soul, this is just a suit to navigate the third dimensional world in. But when your soul leaves it, energy can't be destroyed. So, where does it go? And it goes back to your starseed family of whichever dimension you come from. And so
that was our show Thursday. Death as a dimensional transition.
Yep,
it was pretty good.
Absolutely, it depends. Where you're from, I guess.
Yeah,
to where you go back.
So I did think of what I was going to talk about, earlier when you was talking about reptilians and and the satanic rituals. I don't watch the news a lot, but since this Iran deal has been going on, I was watching the news and it came out. I don't want to get into conspiracy, but the Epstein files have created quite a buzz with something that the world, would be really shocked by. And it was talking about satanic rituals.
Oh yeah.
So do you think that was really going on?
Oh, I know it was going on. I've remote viewed it. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Wow.
And all the people who are on the list of, are actually part of it. Of course, well, I wasn't there. Yeah, whatever.
They were talking like it was going to shock the world when it came out.
I think the problem is, though, people get cognitive dissonance after a bit. You see all this stuff, like you start off with the fraud. There's fraud all over the place. And then you start off with Epstein file. Oh, they're coming out. They're not. And they're coming out. And when they come out, I think people say, yeah, there's ritualistic abuse. Well, yeah, there's child trafficking, there's child molestation, there's child everything. I mean, to me, this is a disgrace on this planet that should even go on. But people I think they've lost the sensitivity. Oh, okay, whatever. Well, I've got to go to work to earn a living. They're in the matrix, I mean, to me, it's shocking. I've seen some of the rituals. I've remote viewed them. I've looked in Iran. I've looked in different places, and what they do would make you absolutely sick to your stomach. In fact, probably throw up, and you'd probably be altered for life. I mean, I don't choose to look at these things, but there's so many things happening. And it's all torture. The problem is that the adrenochrome, adrenaline is from torture. they heighten the pineal gland. They sometimes cut it out from kids or whatever. Are we allowing this to happen? No, we're not. It's happened, and it's got to stop right now. Because it's evil. And like I say, the normal human being on this planet would not ever contemplate or can even imagine anything like that, but these aren't people, human beings. They're reptilian, they're manipulative, they're dark, they're demonic, and they're all about control. So it's all about rituals to get them more powerful, and they'll do anything for power, anything, death, anything. So yeah,
It's crazy.
Overtly said something that I've thought about a million times over the years. But I think it's funny because she asks, why do religions have sacrifices, right? So eating of flesh, drinking of blood. So the ritual sacrifice that happens on, that most Christian religions do on a Sunday where they eat of Christ's flesh and they drink of his blood. What do you think that's about?
Oh, I think what they're doing is manipulating people to create a ritual on a Sunday of drinking Jesus. I mean, imagine if Jesus were alive. Come here, Jesus, I want to drink your blood now. Come here, lad.
Yeah.
Can I have a bit of flesh as well? It's insane, it's insane. It's ritualistic. It's wrong. But then again, you've got to remember the Bible was recreated by pedophiles, by people in charge, manipulators. It's not all bad. And again, if you're going to read the Bible, King James, I wouldn't go to King James, by that time it's lost its touch. But go back to, like Jason said, one of you guys said the Ethiopian Bible,
Yeah.
because that's got a lot more in it, Macklin, she's got a book, it's very different. It's very, very different than what you think. But the Catholic Church worship, Catholic Church, the Vatican is Luciferian, it's as holy as a hot dog poo. And so, if you want to follow that, we'll carry on. But yeah, Catholicism is, it's all been hijacked. They all have, every religion almost in the world. So, to me, it's all about prime creator. Yes, do I love Jesus' teachings? Of course, but he wasn't a Christian, nor am I. But what he did do is follow a moral life, don't judge people, love people, help people as much as possible. I abide my life by that, so I abide my life by Jesus' teachings, but I'm definitely not a Christian. I don't read the Bible because, I don't care to listen to nonsense, basically. So, and it's not all nonsense, but a lot of it is,
Yeah.
But even the Lord's Prayer, it's been hijacked. So, I think, guys, you've got to take a step back and think about prime creator. I believe God is in everywhere and everything. We're all God beings. And, so, and, he overtly said, about I have no problems with what is said to be Jesus' words. Yeah, absolutely. But the rest of it's like, is moral stories from very bad people. I'd agree with that. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's insane.
Yeah, it is. It definitely is, Do you think that there are reports, I guess, of ancient off-planet ruins that are kind of buried under Greenland's ice?
Yeah. Yeah, they're preserving all them. And there's artifacts as well, which is very powerful. They're preserving them. They've kept them away from the people so they don't get destroyed. And I think, like I say, once there's a balance in the world, it's not here yet, but I really do think 2026 is going to be quite tumultuous. Because I also think, don't forget, spirituality affects the planet, affects the sun, affects us, affects off-planet beings, affects everything, the whole third dimensional world. And it's my belief that the planet's kind of getting a little bit tired of all this nonsense and this greed, and it's connected to God, of course. So I think what's going to happen is it's all going to start shifting. I think some of these big cities are going to get hit, with the tectonic plate. And is it, yes, it's tectonic plates, but it's the planet flexing a muscle to, I'm done with this. We want to eradicate it, greed, not thinking about others. We've lost our way a little bit, but I think it'll be rebalanced by the planet will choose itself, so that's why I always said, get out of big cities. I think you need to, because this year is going to be tumultuous, and you're going to see some tectonic plates. I think you're going to see some pretty crazy stuff happen. But I would really get out of big cities. That's why I never live in a big city.
Yeah, we live in a nice little quiet town.
Yeah, that's small.
Yeah, well, that's it, and I love it that way. It's brilliant.
So the ice is melting, right? And it may be revealing a lot of this stuff. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, the other reason for Greenland as well, I don't know, is about the Golden Dome. You've heard of that, haven't you? So
Golden Dome, yeah.
So people think, oh, it's just because Trump wants to, the Northern Hemisphere that covers a lot of land, not just the US, but Mexico, everything else. He wants to put a Golden Dome. Now people think, oh, it's to it's for a missile defense system, but it's actually it'll be modeled superficially on Israel's Iron Dome. It is not just for that. It's basically functions as a multi-dimensional shield. So what does that mean? It's going to have plasma energy. It's going to work at there's going to be frequencies at 432 hertz, which means that the entities that try and come down to Earth and manipulators can't get through that energy because it's too high and they're low vibrational beings. So it'll create a gateway for just benevolent beings coming through, not reptilians and that in the future. So that's going to kind of help, But I mean, you can compare it to firmament, but the firmament is actually from Antarctica. It uses Greenland, but it's the firmament around the planet is from Antarctica, and that's basically a manipulative frequency where it's basically suppressing our spirituality. So as they're breaking that down, I think it's 60% broken down at the moment, and it'll be gone in the next few months, and then this Golden Dome will be replaced. That's another reason why they want Greenland, to use the technology and basically insulate the Northern Hemisphere as a beacon, So
They ask, what do we need to hear?
what do we need to hear? In what context?
I don't know. That's what I was wondering too.
Yeah.
Maybe she'll
Yep.
elaborate.
She'll elaborate, I'm sure.
Yeah, I'm sure she will.
It may be a lot to do with what's going on. We need to hear positive news, and
Yeah.
I think the golden age is coming. It's coming, but I think for people who are evolved and awake, we're kind of a bit sick and tired of all this. To me, I don't know about you guys, but the spark has gone out of life. I love being here. I love what I do, but that spark that I had, before 2019 has kind of been snuffed out. And so every day is just like the next. I do my healings, I do this and that, have a bit of a laugh, but I don't have that burning passion that I did, and I want that back. And I think it's a lot because at the moment, the collective energy of, America, for example, is pretty anxiety ridden. It's PTSD ridden, and of course, you're navigating through that, and again, if people want help with that, we have a prayer to remove the collective energy and send it back to God. I think it's a really good thing to do, and say it like 3 or 4 times a day, because otherwise what you're doing is processing the collective, and it's a little bit much for everybody. So I think it's all good news, but don't think we're going to have it easy. This year is going to be shocking, I think, for most people. I mean, what does Q say? The end won't be for everyone, even the most evolved. I mean, nothing. I don't know about you guys, but I've got to a place where nothing bothers me, like life, death.
Yep.
I just go through the day and see what happens, and just enjoy my life. I feel grateful every day. That gratitude is a good thing to really focus on, because if you're grateful for things, you can get more. God will give you more. And I walk around this house, chuckle sometimes. Well, thank you, God, for giving me this house and my wife and food on the table. So yeah.
So it's in regards to aliens. So what do we need to hear? Disclosure. I hear it said, but the government will never say anything. They haven't ever told the truth.
I think the problem is that if they told all the truth about everything you can see, I think it might shake up a lot of people. You're probably going to get 100 million mentally ill people in this country. And so it's not so easy to disclose, because I mean, my father thinks we're the only species in the whole universe. I said, oh, really? He said, yeah, of course we are. We're the only intelligent species. I said, but the universe is infinite, you know.
Yeah.
You not think there's somebody else next door on another planet? Oh, no. I said, where do you learn that? Oh, the BBC. Oh, well, there we go.
Back to those truth tellers again.
Yeah, I know. It's like climate change, you know.
Yeah.
Wind creates global warming. He said that, you know. Where did you learn that, Dad? The BBC. So I told him, I said, well, in America, we gave them tum-tums, settles the stomach, no wind, and global warming's over, you know. So yeah, it's crazy. But yeah, I mean, there's so many lies. But I think they're going to have to disclose something, because I think the ET races are basically saying, if you don't, we're going to do it. And they're going to start flying in. I mean, I see a lot of craft, you know, because I can see through the veil. Sometimes they cloak themselves. But I remember when I went to, I think I may have told you guys before, Stardust Ranch to clear the greys. And I remember the Arcturians coming, you know, there's 3 craft. And I was talking to them, I said, what are you guys doing here? Making sure you don't do stupid stuff, you know. Okay. Because they know me, if the portal was open on ground level, like John said, because he said when the portal opens, it's on ground level. And I think they changed it so it opened about 300 feet up. Because if they hadn't, I know me, I'd walk through it and, you know, here we go. Let's see what happens. And,
let's see what's on the other side, huh?
Yeah, let's see what, oh, you've disappeared. Oh, never mind, you know, so, yeah.
That's crazy. Said that, what was that? Permission was given to take us and DNA. Yeah. Do you have anything about that where you know they supposedly met with the president and permission was given to do studies on us and stuff like that?
That was given to the reticulates. It started with Hitler, actually, and so Hitler gave permission. You know, you can take the German people, you know, steal their eggs and sperm, and so they're doing that, and is some technology, you know, and yeah, I don't blame you for being pissed, well, you know, because it's not your body, it's a sovereign, you know, you're as a sovereign body. The government has no permission to sign a contract on your behalf. But anyway, so they were doing that. The problem with the reticular, they're not quite that smart, because, like I say, they were fertilizing fetuses in plastic pods and getting AI draconian thing. This is not what we want. We want our hybrids, you know. So then what they did, which is even worse, and you're not going to be really happy with this, is they decided to impregnate women. So they'd take you off, impregnate you, put you back down here, put 3 monitors, one in the brainstem, one near the heart, and one near the womb. When the soul had actually integrated into the fetus, they'd take you back up, take the fetus out, and then put you back down here. I mean, how many women I worked on in the last 15 years was, well, I thought I was pregnant, and 4 weeks later I wasn't. Oh no, yeah. I had to explain to them, and it's a violation. Yeah, it's cruel, but it's actually worse than that. It's a complete violation. On the 17th, sorry, not on the 17th. When was it? 2017. I can't remember when it was, June or something. And I was called to the Galactic Federation. I chair it with 2 other Bacchusnet beings, and you tend to go. They normally give you time to lay on the bed before they take you, because if they take your soul out, you're in a coma. So, but they didn't. They just took us, and so I was near the bed, collapsed to the floor, and my wife apparently walked in. Oh my God, he's had a stroke, or oh, hang on, oh, he's gone to the Federation. I was there 10 minutes, but you can be there hours. 10 minutes, there's no time there. And it was discussed. What's the difference between violation and education? Now, they always have to discuss it and get a ruling so that they can actually do something about it. So, for example, we talk about reptilians, they're attached to you. Is that a violation education? And the answer is it's an education, because you're told about it before you come down. So you say, okay, I agree, let's do it. But what happens if a government signs a contract, they're going to steal your body parts or impregnate women? Is that a violation of education? Of course, it's a violation. So it was agreed that in this time space on this planet, they're going to take them all off the planet. So what happened is the Arcturians swept off the planet. But one thing that wasn't thought about is that, okay, they're banned from this time-space, but what happens if they come through a portal? Then they're in a different time but same space. You see what I mean? So what they're doing now is they're actually coming to houses through portals, but they're not doing very well with abducting people. So that's a good thing. So yeah, I was at a meeting. There was over 10,000 beings there, and it was discussed, telepathy, and it was agreed that the Arcturians can sweep them off the planet, so they're gone. The grey reticular, not the tall greys, the grey reticular.
You mentioned the Federation, the Galactic Federation. I know a lot of our listeners probably don't know nothing about it, but can you explain it, and what do you do with your role in there?
Well, the goal is to actually oversee a lot of different planets and different dimensions to make sure that things are balanced. And you've got to take into account the what do you call it? The keys. I don't want to call it laws because it's not a law, it's a key of different areas. Like the key of the third dimensional world on this planet is its free will. There's different dimensions, there's different things happening. Free will means you can't interfere with it. Even Prime Creator, who created it, can't interfere with it because it was agreed on the creation. That's why, they got star seeds down here, of course, because they can get over that. Because if you seed a star seed, so you're in a human body down here, although mine's 84% because of that DNA, but whatever. But you're down here, which gives you permission to say, hey guys, in the ethers, we need help down here, so you can pull help down here. But the Galactic Federation is there to police things, and if things get rough, they can also monitor, like, for example, I think it was in 1986, the collective consciousness was that we don't want nuclear war, and when it gets over 80%, they have the petition to neutralize it, So yeah, we're well monitored and we're actually well taken care of. What beings help take care of as well? Obviously, Palladians, Arcturians, Lemurians, Adlatarians, Andromedans, Lyrans, and obviously Melchizedek as well. And all these beings are helping us down here. Without this help, we wouldn't be anywhere near where we are. So, you got to honor them for, really standing up for us and helping us through this transition.
So what would the current state of this, I don't know if you would call it a war, but, what's the current state of the conflict?
I think what they're doing is just taking out the satanic ritualistic systems, all the DNA manipulation, any hybrids, anything else. There's also obviously people who are in alternate states in cryovac, cryo systems, whatever, crystalline pods and whatever, to use them. And they're taking all this out, any aquatic life that's been manipulated, they're taking that out because they've created monsters, if you actually, I've remote viewing some things, you don't want to see these beings, they mix a lion with somebody else or something else and create this insane being. Yes, it's very powerful, but why would we do that? It's, to me, it's against the rules, It's supposed to be illegal anyway in most countries, but I think what they're doing is taking all that out, the adrenochrome systems, the people who are trafficking, and eventually, they'll do it. And that's what they're doing in Iran. Yes, they need to take the leader out because he was, Marxist and, crazy person, really. But, and, they want them to actually elect a leader. But at the same time, it's all about what's happening underneath to stabilize the country, so that hopefully things will change. And, yeah.
Yeah. Overtly says, as a fish keeper, it's really easy to manipulate breeding.
It is, yeah, absolutely. And it's happened on the planet, you can see it. But I think it's gone so dark, it's gone so much the other way that, like I say, now the planet's getting involved. And, I always remember George Carlin said, he was talking about, I won't put the F words in, but he was talking about, there's a big club, and guess what? You're not in it, So, yeah, I love that thing. And then at the end, he said, and she could spit us off like a bad dose of fleas, and it's just the way he said it. I thought, he's right, she could spit off, forget about nuclear war, all this. This planet could spit us off, in a heartbeat. Yep. And I think we've done well with all the abuse, I mean, all the oil we take out of her, it's the planet's lifeblood. It's nothing to do with, fossil fuels. It's the blood of the planet, and it's never ending. It's like, if you take a pint of blood from you guys each, how long does that take to regenerate? 3 days, 2 days? And so, you take billions of gallons out. But again, is it spiritually correct? Of course it's not. You're stealing the planet's lifeblood, so I'll be glad when we actually wake up and get the Tesla technology. I mean, free electric, all you need is a massive coil. It gets it out of the ethers, transform it down. You've got free energy. It's been there forever. And, I'll be glad when people make these like little boxes, 500 amp boxes for houses, and you just plug it in and it's there forever. And it costs you, well, apart from buying the thing, it'll cost you nothing. All that's coming, all that technology is coming, replicated. There's replicators. If you want something, you just replicate it, whatever it is. And so, you won't have to use massive resources for the planet. It's created by the ether energies. So it's going to be an interesting time. But
Well, Tesla tried to show us the way, but we weren't ready for it.
Well, I think also, I mean, I think JP Morgan Chase, I mean, they stole, what was it? Who was it who took that? I'm just trying to think, it wasn't Rothschilds, I think it was Rockefellers, wasn't it? Who actually stole all his, patents and just shelved it because, of course, they're just interested in oil. But I think we've gone beyond that, What I think is interesting is that if you listen to the Crown Prince in different places, in the Middle East, they're now getting away from oil and they're getting a lot more tourism. So 60% of their income now is tourism. And, I think it's going up. So, I think people are trying to get away from oil so they can sustain themselves for the future, because the future is free energy, I mean, you can have one of these things in a car, you could drive forever until the wheels fall off,
Yeah. Woo Rider says, my grandfather was stationed in Greenland in the 50s, and they've got photos of NHIs, non-human intelligences, while on duty.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they integrated with them. Absolutely. And they work underground with them as well. I mean, they're working on the technology, so yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the word, free.
Yeah.
Free.
Yeah.
We like free, Well, we shouldn't have to pay.
The guys that run the place don't like it.
Yeah, they want us to pay,
Yes.
Yeah. Carbon tax, even when you buy a house here, it's insane that you should have to pay the local government like thousands of dollars a year to actually, what you're doing is renting it back.
That's right. You're only renting it. You never own the property. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's all about to change. I'm pretty excited for the future. I think we've got a great future. And this is a great country. I love it. I'm a citizen, so, since 2017, I love the country.
Well, that's awesome.
Would I ever go back to the UK? No, let me see. Oh, that'd be a no. The place is really falling apart at the moment, so yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, they've got some stuff going on there too, don't they?
I always remember being in front of the immigration office, and he'd ask me all the questions in the book and whatever, and he said, is there anything else that couldn't make you American? Oh, well, he goes, what is it? I said, I can't give up afternoon tea. He goes, I don't think we're worried about that.
How did you end up in Branson, Missouri?
Well, I went to Belize, and when I went bankrupt, I was sponsored to go places, and somebody sponsored me to go to Belize to do some healing and stuff there. So I went there, and there was a lady there from Hollister, just outside Branson, and she was being targeted by deep state Illuminati people to the point where they're threatening her and all this because her husband had passed away, but they wanted this and that. Anyway, so I did a ritual, a God ritual, and we actually got all the paperwork that she had, and I brought it before God, released them to God, and burnt it, and it all stopped. And she was like, "Wow, that's amazing!" So, and she said, "Would you come and stay in Hollister?" So I did, and anyway, I came here in 2010. I always remember, so I opened the office, build it, they'll come. They didn't. So after 3 months ago, Okay, so the door's open. There's no clients. What's going on? They said, it's within. Get out there. Oh, okay. I remember going to my first conference, which was in Rogers in Arkansas. And I went there. It was like $100 for a table. I had no money virtually then. So, got $100. And I was slammed all weekend. I thought, wow, what happened? And I really do believe that if you take your gifts out there and you have the absolute passion, people know, they just feel your energy. Wow, I need a healing off him. And it's always happened that way. It's been amazing. So
yeah, that's amazing.
And I think it's also having the faith, if you do a spiritual business, people say, well, how the heck am I going to make money out of whatever it is, healing or something else? And, I think to me, if you're doing your absolute passion, if you focus on the gift and don't focus on the other things like IT, can I do my IT? Yeah, of course I can. Do I want to do it? Now, let me see. That'd be a nope. Because, our IT guys, he charges $150 an hour. And he's been around different companies. Oh, yeah, Windows is just updated. There's a problem with it, so he can fix it straight away. With me, I might stay 2 days there looking on Google. Okay, what's the problems with the latest version and So, you're better off just focusing on your gift and knowing God's got your back. You've got enough money to pay the people. We have 9 staff, believe it or not. And,
wow.
We've got, the girl who does the, Donna who does the PR. We've got another lady who does ghostwriting for me and things like that. We've got 3 girls in the office. We've got Mandy and myself, so we've got quite a few people. And, and I think it's a great organization because all I have to do is focus on the healing, which means that I do a lot more healing than if I had to mess about with silly stuff. The accountant does all the accounts. I'm not interested in counting beans. And that way, you take all the pressure off yourself and you just enjoy it. And yeah, absolutely.
Well, Roger's in the house. What you was just talking about it's kind of funny because I know multiple people that have money, right, that are very well off. And they said that the key to it is to never think about the money. Like you were saying, you don't think about any of that other stuff. All you think about is what it is that you're trying to do, your message, your healing and everything that you're wanting to do. And these people run, multi-million-dollar businesses, and they, from day one, even when they had nothing, they didn't worry about the money. They just worried about what it was that they was trying to do. And they said that you do better when the money's not the goal. It's what it is that you're trying to do is the goal. And then you get money in return for doing that.
Absolutely. And I think if you've got a burning passion, if you get excited by something, so it gives you the reason to get up in the morning and get involved with people, and you see the changes. I mean, I've got to say, over the last, I'd say 6 months, I've had a lot more, what would you call it? Gratitude from people like, wow, thank you so much. Like Saturday and Thursday, I do it. We get donations. The donations have plummeted since, we started, especially over the last 2-3 years, because people are struggling. But I still do it because it's important to me that everyone gets healing. Because I've been at times, in my life where I had no food for 21 days, 7 days, whatever. And I know what it's like. It's tough, and you don't even have, you don't even have 5 cents to give to anybody. You have nothing. And so, it was important to me to make sure everyone gets a healing because it's a 501c3. So, yeah.
So you work by just strictly donations?
Well, we do these 2 things by donation. So if people have no money, no donation, that's fine. One-to-one specialized groups, I have a fixed donation for them. But I keep it lower as well. I don't charge hundreds and hundreds of dollars because people don't have the money. I want them to get well. So we put a sensible rate on. And and so, but they're still donations. I mean, of course, you can claim them against taxes. So, But I think I'd encourage everybody, find your spiritual gift and just go with it because, you'll really get there. But it's also looking, like we said before, the gratitude of what you do have. Thank you, God, for the blessing that I've got a plate of food on the table.
Yes.
I've got a house. I mean, all this is built. In 2010, I came with absolutely nothing. I was bankrupt, had nothing, and it's all developed since then. 16 years of hard work, with people. I've traveled all over the United States, traveled all over the world, actually, and it's been incredible. And now, I just go on podcasts and do it that way instead of spending hundreds of. I couldn't do it anyway, actually, because it's a lot of work traveling around the world.
Overtly says, I appreciate the cleansing. Feel really good.
Thank you for my fish, she says.
Oh, bless her. That's really funny.
Yeah.
So you're also an ordained minister or reverend, right?
Yeah.
And you also run an interfaith ministry. So
it's interfaith.
Tell us about that.
Well, it's a ministry. It's classed as a church, I guess, but it's not a church. I mean, really, it's just there for healing.
Healing.
I used to do a lot of teaching, but now I do the healing, and I do it by Zoom, on the phone, everything else, from this office here. I used to do a lot of teaching, but I found that it's just, I don't know, people. I just want to focus on the healing. I think teaching and doing stuff like that, it can take a lot of time, and it's just not for me, But I was thinking about doing some lately, because people are saying, "Can you teach me how to dowse properly? Can you teach us how to know which starseed family we're from? Can you teach me how to put someone in a portal, to do this, that, and the other?" Well, maybe we'll do it in the future. I might think about that. So, because, it's fun, and, but I like being amongst people as well. But I think with all this pandemic stuff that happened, I'm not going on a plane because you get shedding. Bits are falling off planes. I'm an aeronautical engineer. I used to do autopilot systems for a living. And, I know the redundancies in aircraft. If bits are falling off, there's something seriously wrong with this picture. And so, I decided that I haven't been back to UK for 5 years. Hopefully I might go this year, but maybe not, maybe next year. So we'll have to see. But I just don't trust avionics. But I think hopefully we'll be on Jetsomobiles, or we'll be in Stargates, where you just literally walk through it and I'll be in my son's front room, That's all coming. I don't think it's long away, hopefully.
That would be amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, that alone would revolutionize everything. Everything.
Oh yeah, but I think that's going to be there when we do really seriously get peace on this planet. Because if you have a Stargate, if you dialed all, I mean, you're going to be able to go off planet, on vacation. Like, I want to go to Neptune. I want to go wherever you want. And so you dial in the hotel there, and you're on Neptune. So, and they don't want us to go off planet until we really truly have peace. And I don't mean like peace, oh yeah, we're going to stop the wars. I'm talking about inner peace for everybody, where they get into this, like, what would you call it, kind of loving condition. I mean, I've been a couple of times, I've been in my life in that bliss. I call it the God blissy place, where you feel the absolute love of God. It's kind of undescribable, but you can't stay in that vibration. You have to come down a bit so you can meet people at the level. But when you feel that, you realize nothing else matters than the absolute love of God, and it's an amazing feel. I've been there 2 or 3 times. When I went to Belize, I got there, and it's an incredible. So after that, it changes your life.
Yeah, it sounds amazing.
Bless you.
So we're in a critical time right now. So do you see this happening in the next few years, or what do you see happening in the next few years?
I think 2026 is going to go into chaos, and it started now, and I think it's going to get worse. So, but again, guys, take a step back. It's a movie, just treat it as a movie. Iran's a movie. It's all a movie. It's all happened already. And, I know people could say, oh, just have your popcorn. It's not that simple, because we're living in this world, and you feel for people. You feel for people who fall for, the narrative that it's not a movie, because they take it all seriously. It's all nonsense, and so if you actually get it out of your life, just really enjoy your life, and it's really important. Enjoy your life, get people around you who love you. If they've got narcissism and they're passive aggressive and they start berating you, then yeah, love them, but maybe over there, stay over there. Don't come in my inner circle, because I love you, but and that's the way I work. Yeah, I have very few friends. I'm like Billy No Mates, but the friends I do have are incredible. I'm sure you guys are the same, because I can't spend my life, when I'm not doing the healing, which is a lot of work, at nights, want to relax with people who have a laugh around you. I don't want to be with people who have to teach and they suck the life out of you, narcissists. So I'm just very careful and selective about who I'm around, and I'm sure you guys are the same.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's something that I've been really trying to hone on these last maybe 3 or 4 years. And it's keeping, like you said, people that you love but are toxic to you and how you feel, just keeping them at arm's length to where they don't infect you with that toxicity, and it's hard. It's really hard to do that kind of thing, but you need to do it for your own good, and you can't push out, what it is that you're supposed to be doing if you're held down by that negativity and all that stuff.
No, I mean, to be honest, guys, I'll tell you, but maybe 7 years ago, doing this healing was a breeze. Because I used to do, oh my God, I feel floating, so much better. But now what's happening is I feel like I'm maintaining people's level to get over this transition, because they're not tanking. I mean, I've got a load of psychotherapists, psychologists, psychiatrists who come to us here because they're struggling. They're sitting in front of people and hearing all their stuff, which has got a lot worse. So, in the last 7 years, and they're struggling because they feel people's energy. So what they're doing is they're coming and, we're maintaining them so they can release that emotion for the week and they can go back and they can work themselves. So we're doing a lot of support around the world, people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Roger says he believes that man would go to other worlds and pollute it.
Yeah. Roger's absolutely right. This is the way people are. That's why you've got to eradicate this satanic, you just got to get back to this God space. You've got to get back to unconditional love. You don't have to be creating other species. Let's just enjoy our planet. We've got 700 million people left with whatever it is. Let's move forward. And I actually think we're going to need robotics because there's not enough people to do the work. So there's going to be robots in your house, doing the cooking and stuff. Am I happy with that? Probably not. But I'll tell you what, it would allow you to detach from the cleaning, the cooking, the laundry and everything else. And it will free you up so you're not enslaved to do your spiritual gifts. I think that's what they're after in the future. I think they want people to, we'll have a fixed stipend. You can work if you want, but you get $5,000 a month, whatever it is. And it'll allow you to take the pressure off so no one's in debt. You're not struggling for money, which means you can go and enjoy, if you do your art or if you're sculpturing, if you love growing food, whatever it is, if you've got a passion for it, you can enjoy it. You don't have to make money. You can try, and if you don't, that's okay. But it takes the pressure away, and it means, I always say, where love goes, money flows, and if you put really love into something, like a chef, am I a chef? No. But I can cook good food, but I kind of need a recipe, but don't tell anyone. It's funny. I got to tell you this funny story. I've got a friend who I'm not going to tell you his name, but he used to work for Phil Collins's, household, and he was a top chef, everything else. And anyway, I found he's become a good friend because I've helped him with some, a lot of healing and things. And so one day I was trying to do shrimp Alfredo, but I thought these shrimp are like rubber. So I phoned him and said, "Chef, have you got any pointers?" He goes, "Never put shrimp on a grill. Always put them in boiling water." And he said, "Put some oregano, put some lemon in." So I never told anybody. So I did it, got fresh shrimp, and he said, "Leave them in for about a minute, half or whatever. And as soon as they're splayed out, take them out straight away." Anyway, I did it. They tasted divine. Oh my God. But I didn't tell anyone I stole that from Chef, I did actually, but it's good to do that, and it makes you feel good. But it's not my absolute burning passion, but I enjoy it. You know what I mean? It's not a love language for me. I love seeing people, oh wow, you're good at cooking. But my burning passion is this. It's all this.
Yeah. I think that's for Jason and I. You know, Paranormal 411 is a very big passion of ours, and it's this search for truth. You know, and it's getting great guests like you on that actually help enlighten us with some of this stuff too. You know, and I definitely need to thank you for that.
Oh, it's a
Yes.
pleasure, bless you. Well, I think you guys do a great job, and it's hard doing a podcast each week. You know, I know how much work it is. You know, I mean, the work to do the healings each week is a ton. You know, and
Yeah.
you know, and then writing books, you know, and things like that. You know, it's you know, when you put all the work and you think about the work you do, you never stop really. You know, but then if you enjoy it, it's not a job. It's a kind of way of life. You know what I mean?
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. And that's the best way to put it, right? Because if you look at it as a job, then you're going to treat it differently.
Yeah.
You just gotta look at it as, you know, this is just part of my life and this is just what I do, you know.
Yeah, and I mean, the support I get from my staff are absolutely incredible. They really are, and they're lovely people. And it's taken me a long time since 2010 to get the right staff. I mean, initially I had no staff at all, and then I took somebody on, and then they went south. The problem is with a business like this is that if you're doing healings, you can imagine that energy is around the staff all day, every day, 5 days a week. So what happens is they're all like, "Oh God, I've wanted this all my life." Da, da, da. And then after about 2 or 3 months, they start getting entitled, going south, and getting aggressive. And wow, you've changed. And it's because what you're doing is because of the healing energy, it's bringing all their trauma up, which is not their fault. It's just, and then we have to end up firing them. But the staff we've got now are incredible. But I don't do the healings in the ministry building. I do it here at home. And I think that's the difference. So it's allowed the staff to not get the level of healing that they were before, because otherwise you kind of blow them up. So, yeah, it's crazy.
That's amazing.
Well, if you want to tell everybody, where they can find your books and everything.
Absolutely, yeah. So if you go to globalenlightenmentproject.com, we've got several books. They may help you. There's manufactured diseases one, so if you want to look at that, and if you have the jab or you've got Lyme, HIV/AIDS, Agent Orange, it explains all that, where it came from. It's all manufactured. Epstein-Barr's manufactured. Cerebella zoster, which is chickenpox, strain of herpes, manufactured. It's all manufactured. And then you've got I've got Center of the Minds, which helps you. It gives you exercises and talks about how to center your mind and really focus on getting balanced. And I'll tell you guys that are listening that, to me, are you going to feel amazing in this world? You'd probably be lying to say yes. But if you can feel balanced and okay, I think in this day and age, you're doing absolutely amazing. But we've also got Manifesting an Abundant Life. We've got and we've got a couple of others as well. And we've got the prayer book. The prayer book's like 12 books. It's got all the prayers in it, which really helps you because it's the size where you can put it in your handbag or, in your pocket. So, yeah. And we've got a ton of meditations as well, which really help, especially things like ADHD, ADD, OCD, PTSD and things like that. And a lot of people have got that at the moment because of the level of anxiety. So, yeah, just go to globalenlightenmentproject.com and have a look. We do one-to-one sessions, specialized groups, where we've up to 15 people in and we talk to everybody, and then we do the healing. It's cheaper. And then, of course, we have the general group where it's by donation twice a week. So, yeah, anything you want. And we also have monthly clearing where we actually do a clearing at 6 p.m. Central Time every day for people, where we remove any entities, we clear the meridians, give them energy, we clear the biofield, clear the cash records, detox the body, and do 9 heart shock releases every day. That's really helped people keep balanced as well over this period. So, yeah, there's a few things we do. It's, bless your heart.
You have an amazing organization, I'll tell you.
Yeah, that's amazing.
I'm kind of blown away. I mean, honestly, guys, I'll go back to that. I don't want to tell you guys, but I'll go back to that reading I had in 220. And this, I was married to my first wife, and so she's 84. So I walk in. It was just out. It's a bit of a rough city. It's called Birkenhead, just outside Liverpool. It's a bit rough. So I turned up there, and she was in a terraced house, and she greeted me at the door, sat down. She went, "I'll start the reading." I was like, "Okay." She goes, "Oh, thank you." Well, thank you. Thank you. I was going, what's going on here? Are you going to say something? She said, well, she said, you're going to get remarried. Okay. You're going to move to America. Okay. And this was like 2020, it was 7 years before, well, 10 years before I moved here. She said, you're going to do healings, work for God, and live off donations. What? Can you imagine when you're a corporation doing stuff and and someone tells you that? Okay, well, I didn't dismiss it, but I thought, wow, this sounds a bit far-fetched. And look, here we are, it's arrived. Everything is donation based.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah,
I mean, that was one heck of a reading. That person,
she was 84 then, so she's probably not here now, bless her. But I'll tell you, she was absolutely spot on. I'm blown away. I often think about her. So, well, you can do this, this, and this, and everything came true. But, you never know the timing of it, of course. But, yeah.
Right.
And
at the time, did you believe everything she was telling you, or was you like a skeptic?
Being honest, I had little skepticism, but it resonated. You know what I mean? It resonated like, yeah, I'm going to do that. But hang on, how can you live off donations doing healings? I mean, come on. And here we are,
Yeah.
And I'm so blown away by it. I'll never forget that, and I'll never forget the journey as well, because I think it's got me to a place where, like I say, if you surrender, really surrender, I mean, no, God's got your back. Don't count the beans. Who cares about beans? We care about people. We care about, service to others, do your work, really focus on people, have a laugh with them, support them. And that's what we do. That's why I have 3 girls in the office, because they answer the phones. They support people. If people are having a tough time, they'll talk them through it and help them. They'll get healing sessions scheduled and all this sort of thing. And it's, it makes it personable. If you've just got this faceless AI bullshit, it's faceless and, and it shows you really don't care. You're just interested in the money, and I'm really not, so.
Right. Yeah, that kind of stuff. Just when you call something and then all of a sudden you get a machine or something else and you're not talking to a person, you're like, what do these people think of me? I'm just a number, or I'm just I'm just somebody that pays them $50 a month on whatever it is. And that's all they care about is that $50 a month. They don't care about, what it is, the reason I'm calling.
Yeah. And that's the whole point about healing. If people need healing, they feel miserable, they feel sad, whatever it is. And they just need to know that someone actually gives a crap about them, because we do, And I think that's so important. And another thing as well, I think, is that Starseed people feel very lonely because, of course, you don't fit in the world. I never have. I don't know about you guys, but I never fit in at school, never fit in generally anyway, because, when people talk behind people's backs, I'm not that sort of person. I'll go and tell you to your face. I won't be mean about it, but I'll tell you like it is. And, if you can't agree, okay, well, I've told you. But I won't go around people's backs saying, oh, did you see what David did? Or did Jason do? Well, I'm not that sort of person. Right. I never will be,
Yeah.
But also, it obviously triggers people. If people have got a ton of kind of trauma, you tell them a truth, it's going to piss them off because it triggers them. And I've seen that a lot lately. So, if you guys out there seeing that people are getting triggered that that you thought were stable and they're not, and they're getting triggered by just your presence, it could be 2 things. One, because you tell the truth and it's their trauma being triggered and they're projecting on you. The other is that if they have an entity, like a reptilian entity or something, if you've got a good vibration, you go near someone, that entity's going, it doesn't like the energy, so it's going to get reactive, and that'll make the person reactive. So it's not necessarily them, it's an entity. And that also goes with this pandemic. If people have taken that bioweapon, if their DNA is altered, there's an archon in there, so they become checked out, but they become very aggressive. And so that's something to bear in mind, because, I don't want people to think it's them. It's not. It's just what's happened in the world. And it's really interesting.
Yeah, I've always been that way. I've always just been blunt and said what was on my mind. No beating around the bush. And my whole life I've been always different. I never wanted to fit in. That was just my choice. I never wanted to fit in. What everybody else was doing, I made sure I did the opposite.
Yeah, I've been the same as well. You know. And also, you know, I think Starsea people like yourselves, people who are more involved, you tend to get things like a little bit of anxiety, ADHD, ADD, OCD. I mean, ADD, there's 7 forms. One of them is like, you know, your mind goes in the ether. So you're just like, I do this all the time. And my wife can come behind me. Oh, Chris, da, da, da. And then, oh, pardon. She said, you didn't hear me, did you? I said, no. My mind's elsewhere. You know, I'm sure it happens to you guys. You know.
Yeah, it plagues my life.
Yeah, but I bet you can't beat this one. I've got OCD and I've got 84 pairs of pantaloons.
Oh no. Nope. I can't beat that one.
Why the heck do you buy them? I said, well, look, if we have a rapture situation on this planet, we might not have any food, but we'll have pantaloons.
If nothing else, I've always got that right.
No, it's just it's one of these OCD things that you think, oh, not to be able to get them anymore because they'll get a different model or something else. So they'll just buy.
I like these.
If it keeps happy, then it's what it is.
Oh well.
That's funny.
Well, we really appreciate you coming on, Dr. Macklin, and I've enjoyed it. I hope you have too, and we definitely want to have you back. We just touched on just a little bit of this stuff.
Yeah, there's so much more.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it can go so much more into depth, and
yes,
there's a lot in it. I mean, there's so much in all this stuff, and you can, if you go really in depth, you probably don't want to hear it, but or the audience probably wouldn't, especially the satanic stuff, because you just have to know it's there, but you don't really need to know how the rituals happen because it's horrific, so. But no, thanks for having me on, guys. It's really lovely to see you, and yeah.
Yeah, thank you for spending some time with us tonight. It's been an amazing show.
Yeah.
Bless your heart. Thanks for
all righty.
And thanks for that session. That was amazing. I just have to say one more time. One more time. I had to say it one more time. It was amazing. So.
Well, get on the general groups, you guys. You can come on anytime. It just helps. I think it's helping us all. That's why I do it, because it's just helping people. You're doing your podcast. Got a lot of stuff going on at work and things like that. I think I'm just here to help. I don't want to be anyone's guru. We're just trying to help people maintain their balance so they can get out and do their things. And that's what it's all about, I think.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, thank you.
All right.
Thank you. Have a good night, Dr. Macklin.
God bless.
Yeah.
God bless, guys.
You.
Take care. Bye. Bless you.
Bye.
Bye.
And
all right.
That was amazing.
Yeah, he's a great guy. I mean, he just wants to help people.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm glad we had him on tonight, because that was amazing.
Yeah.
What do you think about that session?
That was amazing too, man. I felt it. I don't know.
It
was
weird. He said, you're going to feel this, and it was like, holy crap, I feel it.
Yeah, when he was talking about the coldness leaving, your going
body
out, I felt it.
Yes. I was just blown away, man. I was blown away. I was like, man, this is pretty cool. Anybody that didn't get to watch the first half of the show, that came in a little bit later, please watch the first half of the show.
Go back.
And when he starts, doing that, do it. I'm telling you, do it. It's worth it. It's amazing.
You just close your eyes and listen to what he's saying. Yeah.
Ground yourself and just, it's amazing. So
all right, you gonna do your spill?
Absolutely. I want to thank everybody again for coming and being part of this show tonight, asking all these awesome questions and helping us out. Remember, you can connect with us at paranormal411.org. You can follow us on Facebook, YouTube, for all of our latest updates. Remember, join us live every Thursday from 7 to 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Also, Saturdays from 8 to 10 p.m. Eastern Time. You can catch us also on Subspace Radio and all major podcast platforms. And remember, we do have 3 books out: East Tennessee Hauntings and Lore Edition 2, A Comprehensive Guide to Paranormal Investigations, and The Haunted Ledger. And all are available on Amazon, or you could go directly to paranormal411.org and purchase those books. Join us.
Yes, join us.
Join us.
We'll see y'all next Thursday, right?
Yes. Yes.
We'll try to do a little short show. So thank you for joining us tonight, and like and share and subscribe to Facebook, YouTube. We really appreciate you.
Absolutely. Thank you.
See you, Roger.
See you, Raj.
Have you ever wondered what lurks in the shadows? What secrets the night hides? What strange phenomena might be happening just beyond your perception? Join us as we journey into the world of the paranormal, exploring everything from ghosts and UFOs to cryptids and unexplained occurrences. From haunted houses to all things paranormal, join us in the search for the truth behind the veil. Welcome to Paranormal 411.